Have you ever felt that something considered right by society seems wrong to you? Have you ever wondered why we deem certain things bad and their opposites good? When we question things that society accepts, we often don't get clear or straightforward answers. In this book, author Friedrich Nietzsche attempts to challenge society's values and beliefs. He takes our core beliefs and analyzes them. The unique aspect of Nietzsche's work is that it encourages us to think beyond traditional rules. In this summary, you will discover where the philosophy we currently use becomes a hindrance for us. You will learn the real reasons behind what society teaches us. To understand what truly makes us great, Nietzsche explores the human spirit. You will also learn about the importance of individuality, questioning authority, and self-discovery. This is a very powerful book that has significantly influenced modern philosophy. It is not just a book, but a journey. It challenges your understanding of morality, society, and yourself. The new perspective you gain from this book can be used to find your own path in life. The free spirit. Humans do not interact with the world as it truly is. To enjoy life, we simplify it. Even the language we use fails to accurately describe the things we see. It is our ignorance about the things around us that motivates people to seek knowledge. However, knowledge does not equate to understanding. Many philosophers spend their entire lives trying to uncover the true nature of the world. They present themselves as guardians of truth, but such a profound concept as truth does not need human defense. In reality, there is no such thing as absolute truth. The one thing we can be certain of is the possibility that something might be false or not true. Think about how often your senses have misled or deceived you. You trust your mind to distinguish truth from falsehood. But what if thinking itself is flawed? Therefore, you should not rely on anyone's thoughts. In society, questioning may seem impolite, but philosophical thinking is different from living in society. A philosopher's job is to trust nothing. Believing you know the truth and defending it makes you angry, fearful, and lonely. This happened to great thinkers like Baruch Spinoza and Giordano Bruno. Observing the world in a simple way reveals that there is no single truth. For example, what might be a luxurious meal for a poor person might seem worthless to a rich person. Greek philosophers' morals and values might be considered sinful by Indian thinkers. Can you think of a book that everyone universally likes? But if nothing is true, how did society come to agree on morality? In early civilizations, actions were judged based on the results they produced. Actions with positive outcomes were considered good, while those with negative consequences were deemed bad. Then, about 10,000 years ago, our perspective on good and evil changed. We started judging actions based on the intentions behind them rather than their outcomes. You were considered bad only if your intentions were wrong. Perhaps this way of viewing morality is limited because it overlooks the unintentional side of our actions. Our unconscious motivation could be the real reason behind good and evil. What if our intentions merely skim the surface of our subconscious mind? If so, our thoughts are just a sign of what is happening deeper within. We might be misinterpreting these signs. Thus, we see that philosophy, as we know it, has its limits. There will always be new generations of philosophers who will tread paths different from those seeking the old truths. They might try to understand truth through their theories. However, new philosophers will not believe that their truth is valid for everyone else. Recognizing the circumstances that create a new philosopher is an exciting study. We know that searching for truth requires a strong character. Therefore, it is unlikely that a great thinker will come from a happy and comfortable life. Perhaps being tough and smart is more suited to a philosopher's personality. These new philosophers will be truly free-spirited. Our old views of good and evil will not restrain them, nor will they chase the standard goal of finding a single truth. They will elevate the level of philosophy beyond what we have known. But do not mistake them for past individuals who called themselves free spirits. Those people wrote about freedom, democracy, and modern ideas. These false free spirits believed that all evils and problems were due to society's faults. Their philosophy aimed to create a society free of all problems. Such philosophers ignore our history. In difficult times, humans progress faster. It is under great pressure that we see the most significant scientific and spiritual growth. New philosophers must understand this crucial fact about human nature. Those who think this way will not say that we should free ourselves from all problems. They are very careful in recognizing what humans should and should not avoid. This is the most crucial step in thinking beyond good and evil. The religious nature. What is religion? Christianity, the world's most widely followed religion, suggests that religion involves renunciation. To obey God's rules, people give up their freedom and ignore their own minds. Controlling natural emotions, like ego, is essential for them. Such restrictions are undoubtedly painful for humans. But this kind of restraint is not exclusive to Christianity. All religions impose at least one of these three restrictions on their followers: fasting, spending time alone, or abstaining from sex. Initially, the reason for these three rules is clear. A primitive society was often characterized by excessive eating, socializing, and sexual activity. Religion might have developed these practices to help us become more civilized by limiting these actions. Over time, religion grew even more influential as great kings and warriors bowed before saints. But why did such powerful figures respect the saints so much? It is said that kings and warriors were very proud and often arrogant. Nevertheless, even they praised religious people, admiring their unwavering mental strength required to lead a religious life. Additionally, the rich and powerful were somewhat suspicious of the saints. They believed that such hardships must come with a great reward. People thought that a saint's life was entirely different from that of ordinary humans, and that perhaps the saints possessed some profound secret about life. Kings also used religion to justify their power and authority. Religion could unite a ruler with his people. Furthermore, some groups used religion to shield society from external politics. The Brahmins in India are a good example. They avoided the troubles of the royal family while wielding power as advisors to the kings. However, the common man benefited the most from religion. Religion gave people the ability or understanding to be content with their circumstances. All religions claim that every person has a purpose in this world. This belief helped ordinary people find meaning in their struggles. This faith led to the widespread expansion of religion. But today, religion is gradually declining. More and more people are becoming atheists. This shift started with the science of evolution, which proved that humans were not created by God. Consequently, people began to doubt God's ability to judge our sins. Yet, while religion is fading, the religious sentiment remains alive. What is religious sentiment? It is the act of renouncing something to fulfill a greater purpose. In ancient times, tribal people would sacrifice their loved ones to please their gods. Many were asked to kill their firstborn child. Then, morality began to grow within religions, and they started to discourage violence against one another. We began to renounce our bad habits before God. Natural human emotions, like pride and selfishness, were viewed as sins and were to be changed through prayer and meditation. However, religious sentiment is never satisfied with mere renunciation. It always demands more. So far, we have given up all things humans could gain in the name of religion. Now, to satisfy the religious sentiment, we must also renounce God. Atheism is just another effect of religious sentiment. Why do we end up making such a significant sacrifice? The answer lies in our modern lifestyle. Worshiping God requires a lot of free time. Meditation or prayer can take up many hours. Therefore, an industrial society that keeps people constantly busy is driving them away from God. Most atheists are not even against religion. They simply do not understand its purpose in society. If asked, they might participate in religious activities. These individuals spend more time focusing on their businesses and families. They move away from God because they do not have time for Him. However, the decline of religion does not necessarily mean something bad. The first flaw of all religions is their attitude toward troubled people. Think about those who have lost in life, such as the sick, the poor, or the uneducated. Most religions tell them that their suffering is something they should appreciate. Consider the impact of Christianity on Europe. It weakened many powerful states, replacing them with moral but weaker rulers. Because of its popularity, humans in Europe have grown weaker over the past 2,000 years. On the natural history of morals. Typically, morality refers to the principles that differentiate good from evil. Every society establishes its rules based on certain morals. However, despite being so crucial for humans, there is no scientific basis behind these morals. Philosophers claim that their morals are scientifically tested and verified, yet their wealth, status, and religion significantly influence these morals. Most philosophers have never attempted to study the history of morals or the morals of other countries. Because of this lack of understanding, these philosophers have never truly recognized the problem of morality. Their science was merely a new way of explaining old morals. They were promoters of faith, not scientists. Many philosophers created new styles of morality for personal reasons. Thinkers like Immanuel Kant wanted to ensure that if someone else used their ideas, the credit would remain with them. Philosophers could either degrade themselves or enhance their dignity through the use of these morals. Some used their philosophies to disgrace or belittle their enemies. This shows that morality is a way to express emotions, not facts. Despite all its difficulties, morality has always been a part of our lives. Its purpose is to prevent anyone from being completely free. But this does not mean that morality is useless. Thinking this way would imply that letting people do whatever they want is correct. How can we reach such a conclusion? In reality, complete freedom is not a good thing. Of all people, artists might seem like the most free thinkers. But ask any one of them how limited they feel when creating art. Greatness comes from focusing entirely on one field and adhering to its principles. The incredible art, music, and science we enjoy today require such limitations. One of the biggest problems with morality is whether we should prioritize our instincts or the reasons behind our actions. Should we do what we feel like doing, or should we make every decision rationally? The great philosopher Socrates believed that actions taken for a reason were superior to those driven by instinct. He often mocked the people of Athens who couldn't explain the reasons behind their actions. However, Socrates' student Plato thought differently. He said that reason and instinct both work towards the same goal. Since then, philosophers have started listening to their intuition to understand good and evil. In Christianity, this instinct is referred to as faith. Whether driven by instinct or reason, morality has a significant problem. It applies the same rules to everyone. Saints say that we should keep our passions and emotions at bay. Spinoza suggested that we should analyze our feelings and suppress them. But the ability to follow these rules depends on your willpower. Moreover, people have different standards for following morals. We can understand this by looking at how people express their feelings. Think about something everyone knows about, like love. One man might think a woman loves him because she agreed to have sex with him. Another man might have higher standards. He might expect a woman to give up luxuries for him if she loves him. A third, even more demanding man might expect a woman to love every aspect of his personality, including his jealousy and anger. Therefore, when creating moral rules, we should consider human nature, but imposing such restrictions also brings problems. In any society, those who follow the rules are the majority. Those who think for themselves and lead others are the minority. Humans follow rules more than anything else. In today's world, society has become just a herd. However, the number of rule followers has increased so much that true leaders are becoming scarce. Perhaps over time, no one will be capable of being free or becoming a leader. We can see such a situation in Europe today. The leaders there claim to follow justice, law, or the Constitution to avoid disgrace. Western societies have become like herds. They believe that serving the community is the best human quality. Kindness, humility, and compassion are highly valued. But since this herd lacks natural leaders, they elect popular members from the herd to rule. These leaders govern through Parliament. In trying to serve society, Western morality has made a significant mistake. Loving your fellow humans alone does not lead to progress. It is the fear of your neighbor that drives humans to move forward. Historically, ambition, cunning, and bravery were highly valued in society. This was because these traits were necessary to protect the community from others. But today, we live peaceful lives where such traits are no longer needed, so they are deemed wrong. This shows us that the root of all morality is fear. Suppose a person reaches a high level of success and surpasses everyone else. This hurts the community's confidence, so the traits that make you powerful are considered wrong. Traits that make people average and rule-abiding are seen as good morals. However, these new values will never positively impact society. A time will come when even criminals will be treated with kindness and leniency. Western countries now consider punishing thieves to be wrong. So, we now understand the true goal of herd morality. It envisions a world without any danger, resulting in a world without fear. But if fear ends, the morality arising from it will also end. Our virtues. Virtue is a quality that is considered moral or good, such as doing what is right and avoiding what is wrong. Discovering and following our virtues is a very exciting topic. Yet, writings on morality, the study of virtues, are often very boring. This is fortunate because if morality were interesting, more people would spend time on it. No one would waste time thinking about the morals of an ideal world. Morality assumes that what is right for one person is equally good for everyone else. But this assumes the false notion that all people are created the same. We are not all the same. Some people are greater than others, and those who are greater are often harmed by common morality. The true goal of moral judgment is revenge. It is a tool used by the spiritually weak to attack a person of strong character. These weak-minded people can use anything to hide their faults, even God. The weak favor religion solely because it says all humans are equal before God. These are the same people who criticize atheists the most. Consider the moral philosophies created by these weak-minded people. Utilitarianism, liberalism, eudaimonism, hedonism, and pessimism all share a common feature. They judge moral values by measuring pleasure and pain. Any reasonable person can see that virtues cannot be judged in such a way. These philosophies focus on helping those who are weak, sick, or unlucky. Their goal is to ensure that no one suffers. But what about humanity? Should we sacrifice human progress for the happiness of each individual? Eliminating suffering would limit human advancement. Difficult times force us to maintain strict discipline, and this discipline is responsible for significant human achievements. We gain strength by enduring pain. Facing fear builds courage. Necessity drives innovation. The virtues we value are formed by overcoming our difficulties. Humans differ from other animals because we have two sides. One side is the creature that lives in the environment and is not much different from a monkey. But within humans, there is also a creator. Moral philosophers pity the creature and create their theories accordingly. But they ignore the creator, who thrives in times of hardship. Any creature can feel pleasure and pain, but as humans, we should strive for something more. Perhaps we could even say that human suffering should increase. All cultures derive their greatest joy from acts of cruelty. For the ancient Romans, this meant gladiators fighting to the death. For Christians, it meant crucifying Jesus. The greatest dream of the working class is to overthrow their leaders in a revolution. But humans do not only find happiness in oppressing others, we also seek hardships for ourselves. A good example is how people suppress their desires for religious reasons. Moral philosophers try to teach virtues to others, but this is absurd because teaching can only change people to a limited extent. Some virtues are intrinsic to human nature. This is why some ideas seem right to you but not to others. Therefore, you should practice only the virtues that make sense to you. Look honestly within yourself to find these morals. Society might misunderstand you. You might think your virtues are not right. Ignore the things that bring you down. All gods have been considered devils at some point. Civilizations are often more wrong than they are right. Their biggest mistake is believing that all virtues are equally important for everyone. But what is right for one person might be wrong for another. Consider the virtue of humility. A moral philosopher might think that a humble person can never be wrong. But what if that person is born to be a great leader? What if they are taught to bow their head and not uphold high standards? This would undoubtedly ruin a great virtue. Therefore, it is wrong to say that every moral is right for everyone. What is noble? In a society where everyone is equal, humans cannot progress. There must be a system that ranks people. There should be a class that rules and directs the rest. The group at the higher level should control and maintain a distance from the working class. The existence of different classes inspires people to advance their minds. The ruling class avoids physical contact with common people and mentally considers themselves above the general public. But how did this ruling class come to be? We must accept the harsh truth that humans are inherently ruthless. The higher class cannot exist without exploiting or oppressing others. Every great culture has mercilessly suppressed its weaker members. Do not mistake this ruling class for the president of a country. Such leaders serve the people. A true ruling class has no clearly defined duties. They believe that society exists for them. So if the public sacrifices for them, they feel no remorse. And if we think carefully, society should be structured this way. It is impossible for everyone to become great. Therefore, human communities should serve as a foundation to promote a few special individuals. The morals typically designed for society are ignored by the higher class. Consider things like violence and oppression. It is clear that these should never be done to our equals. But to say they are wrong and should be avoided makes no sense. This idea goes against the basic principles of life. Life is fundamentally about theft, violence, and the strong dominating the weak. We see these as negative things, but they are simply facts. Imagine a society where everyone is equal and no one oppresses another. For this community to survive, it must dominate other groups. This has nothing to do with morality. It is a fundamental trait of any living thing. However, morality itself was born from the existence of different classes in society. It can be divided into two fields: master morality and slave morality. Generally, there are two ways to determine what is good and what is bad. These ways evolve based on whether the thinker is a ruler or one who is ruled. Master morality considers certain human behaviors as good. Here, it is more accurate to use terms like noble and base instead of good and bad. The values they consider noble include honesty and courage. Master morality applies its standards to the person, not to our actions. Master morality is also known for valuing tradition and respecting elders. This is clearly against modern thinking, which values progress and the future more. But the most uncomfortable part of master morality is that it only values people of the same rank. This means you can treat someone of lower rank however you wish. On the other hand, slave morality comes from the minds of those who are controlled and not free. Such people do not believe in any good things defined by rulers. Slave morality claims that the rich do not know true happiness. In this type of moral thinking, we see that evil is the opposite of good. Slaves believe that those with power are naturally evil. This thinking arises from the workers' fear of their master's power. Slave morality values behaviors that make suffering easier to endure. For these philosophers, virtues like compassion, kindness, empathy, and generosity are the highest. They also place great importance on hard work, patience, and motivation. There is a clear difference in freedom between slave and master morality. Rulers believe that adhering to traditions is a good thing, while slave morality seeks freedom and views it as true happiness. Our modern definition of virtues combines master and slave morality. But in many societies, virtues are shaped by necessity. Imagine a community going through tough times. Its virtues will be the qualities needed to keep its members alive. The society takes strict measures to ensure these qualities are well taught. Gradually, as difficult times pass, there is no longer a need to develop these virtues so rigorously. Society begins to grant more freedom, and this freedom creates differences among people. Some become more corrupt and dishonest, while others strive to advance beyond the old virtues to reach higher standards. These noble people consider themselves above everyone else. They believe it is right to sacrifice others for their own benefit. Initially, they may seem arrogant and selfish, but over time, they identify others in society who are their equals. They then accept that others should have the same rights. But how does one find their equals? The easiest way is through communication. Words have fixed meanings. However, we know that they do not always fully convey the concept. We can only communicate using words if they have the same meaning in our minds. This is why people from the same country understand each other better. A foreigner speaking their language does not have the same experience. Living in similar circumstances allows a group of people to understand each other better. This understanding is crucial for human relationships. How often do people misunderstand whether someone likes them or not? Two parties can derive different meanings from the same statement. Such confusion cannot exist in times of danger. This is why societies facing a common threat stay together. But if common values are necessary for communication, what about those who are different? They are likely to remain alone and isolated. Therefore, society encourages people to be normal. Those who are more normal will build more relationships and enjoy greater success. But will making all humans alike lead to a greater humanity? In reality, the suffering and loneliness of a noble person are what elevate them above the rest. However, such great individuals do not want others to pity them, so they wear a mask to hide their troubles from the world. They often pretend to be happy. Instead of expressing their sorrow, they want people to see them as very happy individuals. Great thinkers want the people around them to misunderstand them, because if they are understood, it means they have found someone equal to them. This would mean their intellect and suffering are the same. It may hurt a noble person to be misunderstood, but if someone understands them, they will feel genuine empathy for their fellow. Conclusion. First, you learned about the limits of moral philosophy. It tells us that there is only one truth, even if this is impossible. We have accepted the current definition of morals for practical reasons. Philosophy will only develop when a group of free people changes it. However, do not mistake them for those thinkers who merely talk about freedom. Second, you explored the religious nature of humans. We make sacrifices to achieve great tasks. In the past, these tasks were for God, but now, due to the industrialization of society, atheism is on the rise. Yet, the increase in atheism is not necessarily bad, because religion can make us weak. Third, you delved into the history of morality. Moral philosophers work based on emotions rather than facts. What is right for one person might not be right for everyone else. By adhering to traditions and rules, we have become like a herd. This view labels all qualities that make a person great as wrong. Fourth, you learned about virtue. The virtues dictated by society are useless. Moral philosophers created them for their own purposes. Society aims to reduce suffering, even though it is through suffering that people become great. Look within yourself to find your fundamental beliefs. Ignore the philosophers and follow your own virtues. Fifth, you explored what it means to be noble. Not everyone can be great. Society's goal is to make everyone ordinary and boring, so you may have to walk alone on your path to advancement. A noble person believes they are superior and uses others to move forward and become better. However, this results in being misunderstood, isolated, and enduring suffering. Society does not want to accept your uniqueness and talent. It aims to make everyone equal to eliminate suffering. But you should value your own thoughts and creativity. If society judges you for this, you should ignore them. After all, no philosopher truly understands what is good and evil. Look within yourself and discover your potential. Use it to elevate yourself and those spiritual equals around you. Thank you for listening to this audiobook summary of Beyond Good and Evil by Friedrich Nietzsche. We hope you found the insights and concepts thought-provoking and inspiring. If you enjoyed this summary, please consider subscribing to our channel for more audiobook summaries. Don't forget to like, share, and leave your comments below. Your support helps us bring more valuable summaries to you. Stay curious, stay inspired, and keep exploring the depths of great books. Until next time, happy listening.